Welcome to the Heart-Centered Entrepreneur Podcast. I want you to be rich. Yes, I want abundant financial success for your business. But I don't just care about your business making money. I care about you too. I want you to be rich in happiness, in the impact you make, in your relationships, and in how you give back. I'm Anna. I built my six-figure business as a side hustle while I was pregnant with my daughter in 2016. Now I've helped dozens of women do the same. I'm here to help you build a profitable, heart-centered, fully booked business with the latest tips on sales and visibility, with proven mindset hacks, and sneak peeks behind the scenes with what's working right now in the online space and in my business. Ready to make more money with heart? Let's go. Hi, friends, and welcome back to another episode of the podcast. I'm so excited to welcome my friend, my client, Chantelle Davis-Gray, Squarespace website and card deck designer. You may have heard this name before because number one, she's been on the podcast before. Number two, she is just such a thought leader in our space in so many ways. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be back. I just cannot believe we've been working together for 10 years. I've been doing design for do good, feel good businesses for about 11. Like we've been together from almost the beginning.
So amazing, right? I'm excited for this conversation too, because I feel like you represent for how you show up for your clients, but also just how you've lived your own business in such integrity of really showing up in a sustainable way, right?
Yes.
You've really had a business for over a decade now, right? What would you say is like the biggest things you credit being in a profitable business, in a stable career that you've self-created for 10 years?
Oh my goodness. Number one, I have to acknowledge my wonderful spouse because, I'm on their insurance and all that good stuff.
Yes.
And though, having a good support system. So in addition to my spouse and like my old school besties, people like you, like business coaches and what I call colleagues, even though we don't quote unquote work together in the, traditional corporate sense, but those biz besties, like you have to, I've really leaned on people so that yes, I'm doing business alone, quote unquote, but it's not.
What I think you said there is so key, because I think when we leave corporate, right, we want freedom and we want to be able to, I don't know about you, but I had coworkers in corporate that I'm a pretty tolerant person, but I had coworkers that I low-key hated. Okay.
Yes.
They just were not value aligned to me. Right.
Exactly.
But then we get into entrepreneurship and we're like, oh, shoot. It takes work and effort to now create my coworkers, to form business friendships, to invest time in hiring a coach, right?
Exactly.
Like doing Zoom dates for friendships, right? Like what has given you motivation to create your own entrepreneurial community?
Totally. Exactly to your point. Like when you're in corporate, like whoever's sitting next to you or, in the same meetings, like that just kind of naturally becomes your friend and you have to really search it out. So I think number one was when I started my business and I was still working some part-time jobs to, pull everything together. I was teaching bar. So those became my friends. I was working at the acupuncture office. So my boss became my friend. And then as I started dabbling in more and more into the online world, joining Facebook groups, like yours was one of the first groups I joined. And then doing networking online, some networking in person, really just to make sure that I didn't end up, like I used to joke, like I didn't want to end up like Rapunzel. I didn't want to just be in my office, like letting down my hair, never seeing another human.
I love that you said that so much. And I just think this is such an important conversation because I hear a lot of women say like, oh, I don't ever want to network, or I don't want to like, and yes, networking is for getting clients, but I think people also forget it's for making friends. And I think, yes, it is important to have clients and money in business, of course. But I also think our soul will die without connections and friendships. And I think we see the work that it takes because humans are imperfect and it takes time and energy. But I don't think we forget that. I would say the same thing for me. The reason I've been in 10 years in business is not just because I've made the money, but because I've created connections that I enjoy.
Yes. I mean, honestly, half the time I go to networking meetings, especially the in-person kind, it's not really looking for work. It's looking for new humans that I get to like hang out with, virtually or in person, that understand. Because while my old school besties, I have to say, have been so freaking supportive throughout this time, they're not dealing with exactly the same kinds of things we're dealing with. And
Yes.
the other thing too is being able to, like, of course, I love, 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 and so appreciate when people give my name out and refer me, but I also refer other people a lot. And so I want to actually feel like I kind of know the people I'm referring out there.
Yes. Yes.
And sometimes, you know, I mean, 10 years is a long time. Like, I've seen a lot of people's businesses either pivot, now they're doing something different from when we first met, or they've closed their business because their life took a different direction. Like, things change. And so I'm not naive enough to think, well, I had 10 good busy biz besties, so that's all I need. Like, no, things are going to keep changing and I want to keep meeting new people.
Oh my good. That is such a good mindset and advice I wish I had when I started my business because I'm someone that is a little bit like I have trust issues. Like it's a little bit
Mm,
hard for me to make new friends in the sense of I'm a little skeptical and I hate when connections end. I hate loss. And so,
same.
but I love what you said about like it's safe for, kind of like how we're always looking for new clients. Not that we
Yes,
don't want our clients to continue, but we don't want to put pressure on our clients.
exactly.
I think the same thing with our friends, right? Just having this open energy of like, I hope you keep being my friend, but even if you don't, I'm going to be okay
Yes.
because I have the skill of making new friends. And that's what I think makes clients and friends actually be around a long time is that really secure energy of like, it's safe for me to make new connections and talk to me
Yes.
about that.
Yes. Well, actually, I have to say, like, I don't know if you were a Girl Scout or maybe this is does comes from somewhere else, but like it really is that old, like, make new friends but keep the
Yeah.
old. It's
One
so
is silver
true.
and the
Yes.
other's gold. Yep.
Exactly. And you're right. Like it's that for friends and it's like that for clients too. Like some of my clients, like just like you and I have worked together for 10 years, I
Yes.
still have a couple of my clients that have been around since the very beginning. And again, it's because their businesses have changed and pivoted and shifted. And, the website we made for them in 2016 is not the website they need right now. So
Yes.
I would imagine similar to how you feel about your long-term clients, like it's so amazing to get to witness and be there along that ride.
It's such a blessing and it's such a gift. Like I don't think I realized like what a joy it would be to and I mean maybe this is changing the topic a little bit, but I would love your take too on like okay, when we're working with people long term, right? Like
Mhm.
I think I hear from a lot of like my clients that are like newer in online business, like when they're doing potential client outreach or when they're networking, right? And they're heart-centered humans,
Of course.
they feel a little weird like connecting with people because they're like, oh, but I'm just trying to get the sale, right? And my
Mm.
argument is like, well, you can try to sell to someone, but also you can care about them. And
Yes.
so maybe talk to me about this, like when you have someone you work with for 10 years, or like when someone is a client, but also is a friend or a connection, or like, how do you, I think in the corporate world, we're taught like we have our friends and then we have our work, we have our
Right.
money. And that, so it just feel like people feel like, oh, I can't charge my friends. But then I'm like, you're not going to make zero any money as a heart centered entrepreneur because your clients will become your friends or your friends.
Exactly.
Like, we have
Exactly.
to like dissolve this belief that we've had that money is cold and heartless.
Right.
And that, like, how did you reconcile some of that?
That's such a good question. And I don't know if I did it consciously. Like, I don't think I set out to resolve it, but I think what happened is, well, okay, a few things. I think number one is like recognizing that like corporate old school kind of keeping things siloed and that kind of thing is very
Yes.
like capitalistic. Like everything is just it's everything is just a channel to be making money.
Is
And
it
it's like,
everything's a dollar sign?
yes, exactly. And so I think breaking from that and switching your mindset to more community care, that kind of stuff, like, yes, we do all realistically need to make money and we can do it with each other. Like, isn't it
Yeah.
better to be giving the people you care about your money instead of the random stranger bajillionaire that's going to space? Like, isn't
Yeah.
it better to be supporting each other so that we're all getting to make money and all getting to do the work we love? So, yeah, like I think it's exciting when you get to hire your friends. Like, Yeah, I don't, like I said, I don't think it was a conscious shift, but it definitely has been a big shift. And to your point about like blending friendship with money, with business, with work, like it's such a relief,
Oh,
right? Like you
yes.
don't have to keep everything so separated and so like secret almost. And there's
How
like, yeah.
interesting. No, 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 keep going.
Well, I was also just going to say that I think, like, I always joke with people, especially if they're newer, like, that owning your own business truly is like self-development course to a level you have never seen.
Yeah.
Like, the amount of introspection and learning that you end up getting about yourself while you're trying to run your business is just like mind-blowing in a good way. Like, I love it. It's one of the things that I love about having my own business.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Okay. I think that's so true, and I think at first when I had this moment about 1 year in business where I realized that, where I
Hmm.
realized like because I even though it doesn't seem like it, like I'm a rather private person in many ways. So when I realized that you basically in most business owners choose to have a personal brand. Now, everyone
Yes.
can have the choice of what they share and what they don't share, and I do not think the world is entitled to our story. However,
Agreed.
I do think as heart-centered entrepreneurs, personal brands do serve us because
Hmm.
who we are is a really kind, integrity-filled human.
Yes.
So, just being ourself online is really good marketing.
Yep.
And when we realize this, number one, it's a little bit disappointing because we're like, oh, I got to share my heart and story. But for me on the other side of it, it was really freeing because I'm like, all I have to do is just share my heart and story. Like,
Right. Right.
like, oh, I
Yes.
don't have to like when I was reading all these sales and marketing books for bros, it was like
Yes.
you have to fake being nice and fake being kind and fake listening to people. And I'm like, oh my God, I
Mm.
actually or like I don't need to read this book. I already do those things.
Yes, because you're just a good, kind-hearted person.
You're
Exactly.
like I don't like I remember what's it like how to win friends and influence people. I
Yes.
hated that book because I'm like, "Oh my God, you're being manipulative." Like
Yes.
you don't actually care, but you're pretending to care. But they're doing that because that's what works good in sales and marketing.
Right. Because we're human and we need that human connection.
1,000. So when I realized this, I'm like, oh my God, if heart-centered entrepreneurs only knew, like we actually have the advantage
Yes.
because we
True.
literally just have to be ourselves,
So
right?
true.
But when we're in a sales call, we suddenly freeze up and we're like, I can't challenge this. Like we're not ourselves
Right.
in sales and marketing because the money is involved.
Yep.
But once we like let that go, but it takes so much deconditioning
Yes.
in the process,
That is
right?
that's exactly the perfect word for it. Yeah. Deconditioning.
Oh my goodness. So it's a crisis, right? Because in many ways it's like, okay, I have to like share my heart and soul, but like you said in the process it can be really healing and liberating and a benefit of that is like we're just being braver to share our authentic self online even if it means rejection, even if it
Yes.
means judgment. Like talk to me
Yes.
about some of that.
Well, I think to that point, like that is how we end up with friends that become, I mean, clients that become friends because
Yeah.
we are just being ourselves. And so people that
Um,
actually like us are going to be attracted to want to work with us. So, and vice versa. Like, and I think again, that is something that comes with some time as you're figuring out like who are the people that are the best fit. And I definitely, there have been ups and downs in these 10 or 11 years. And not every client has been 100% great fit, but there were definitely big learnings from all of them.
yeah.
And yeah, to that point, like, I know this is a thing in marketing where, you know, that to your point, like they talk about it as a marketing tool or hack, whatever, like to really put your stuff out there and that'll either make people hate you or love you. And yes, that's true, but like we're doing it just so that we can actually just show up as ourselves. And yes, that's a great side effect is that the people that come really do connect.
That is such an important point, and I think so much of business changed for me, AKA I started in like yes, we wanna be selling and marketing, but most of our work is behind the scenes with
Yes.
clients, and we
Yes.
don't wanna hate our lives, and so what we wanna do is not just design a business model we enjoy, AKA one-on-one or group or whatever, but also be working with humans that excite us and don't drain us. Right?
Yes.
And like
Yes.
you
Yes.
said, the
Yes.
best way we do that, unfortunately, is by exposing ourselves to them
Yep.
before they pay us money. and letting them
Yep.
know, whether it's in conscious or subconscious ways, these are my values. This is what I believe. This is what I stand up for. This is my style. This is my
Yes.
personality,
Yes, 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 yes,
right?
yes.
So that we're, like you said, attracting and detracting people. That way, after the fact, number one, they're happy, but also so that we're happy.
Yes. Because why are we running our own business if we are going to make ourselves miserable?
Exactly. Exactly. What are we even doing?
Yeah, exactly. Then we might as well just go to corporate or wherever and be miserable. So,
And
yeah.
and I find the business owners, whether they're my peers or whoever, right, that end up lasting the longest in business are those that are prioritizing profit and making money, but
Yes.
also those that have ideal clients, like
Yes.
have people, like they're enjoying their business. They're enjoying, it's almost like I heard this stat in corporate, right? That most people don't quit their job, they quit their boss.
Yep. 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 Yep.
Meaning most people actually stay in the workplace. Yes, for the money, but also because they feel appreciated.
Yep.
They feel good, positive feelings when they're connecting with the humans that make up their workday, right?
Exactly.
I think it's the same thing in business, right? And I
So
think
true.
we feel victim to, like, oh, I'm working with clients that are mistreating me, right? But I think we have a lot of power over, we have 100% power over who we work
Yes.
with in
Yes,
business,
we do.
right?
We do. Yep.
And we get to choose, number one, who we attract, but also with our boundaries and policies,
Yep.
we also detract the people to return to work with us that aren't a fit too.
Yes, absolutely.
I feel like this aligns a lot with your, like, one client at a time
Yes.
type belief, the experience you give your clients. Like, talk to me about some of that.
Yeah, I was actually just gonna that what you just said reminded me of that because a couple of years I did switch to working only with one client at a time. And that means that I there is a certain kind of person that's actually not a great fit for me anymore. And I kind of had to grapple and decide, okay, am I okay with that or not? That kind of thing. Because working with only one client at a time, I am solely focused on that one client for this short amount of time, whether it's one day, like a, intensive, or if it's a week or two, if it's a bigger project, like a more robust website or a card deck, like I am in it to win it with that client for that time. And the way it gets done so quickly is that we are in back and forth communication, right? And they need to be able to make decisions kind of quickly, like overnight. And not everybody can do that. But turns out my best fit clients can. And so it has been so amazing to see the magic that happens because there's a different kind of like energetic momentum that builds in that short little sprint together of like really being in it, like side by side, back and forth, collaborating. There's this like amazing momentum that builds up to the launch point. But again, some people really need a lot more time and space to think about whether what we're doing feels right to them. And they might need like a day, days or weeks in between. And that just isn't how I work anymore. So then I, happily refer them to other people. But that is a way that kind of people self select whether we're going to be a good fit or not.
I love that you've chosen this business model. And I love too that, like you said, like not everyone's going to be for you, and
Right.
that's okay. And I think so many people have a fear of like niching, whether it's with their business model or with their values or with their target client, right? But being
Yes.
like, hey, there's nothing wrong with you if you want to take a year to get your website done, right?
Yes,
But
exactly.
personally, I believe
Right.
like it serves you to get your website done quickly because, and I agree with you. I think a lot of the reason why people, in not always, but often when people say they need more time, I think they're overwhelmed. I think they need support
Yeah.
making decisions. I
Yeah.
think they need, life doesn't usually slow down, at least mine never does.
No, no, no,
And
no.
I really think it's about, I think a shorter amount of, like, maybe just walk us through. Like, let's say, someone came to you, they wanted their website done.
Mhm.
What does that expedited process look like with you?
So we do, a great chat in the beginning to figure out their needs, their goals, what's going on in their business, where they want it to go, that fun stuff. Then I send the proposal and we choose dates to work on the website together. And then I send them their homework. So their homework includes a questionnaire. So I can really, the questionnaire is actually a lot about their clients. So of course I care about my client, but I care almost as equally amount as their clients because that's who I'm actually making the work for. Like that's who we need it to attract. So it has a questionnaire, and then they give me, all of the photos they have, images, etc., and then copy. And then I, of course, have referrals if necessary. And then they usually have like 4 to 6 weeks to work on that homework. In that time, I'm still there for them. Like if they have questions, if they get stuck, they want to run something by me, I'm there. But after that 4 to 6 weeks, we do another kickoff call, review everything together. And then that immediate following Monday, I am diving in. I am creative direction. I am making concepts, really just deep diving into design land. And then I send them by that afternoon. So Monday afternoon, I send them the first draft, whether that's the website or their card deck. And then they reply back to me the next morning, Tuesday morning. And it goes like that the whole week. Obviously, there's some times where we each have questions during the day, answer those during the day, but the general flow is that I'm designing, I send it to them late afternoon, they reply the next morning, and it just keeps going. And like I said, that momentum that builds because it is so fast is amazing. And then, of course, I do the tech stuff and all that good stuff at the end. And then by that following Tuesday, so it's about a week, maybe 10 days, their website is launched, their deck is to the printer, and they are ready to go.
I love this so much. I feel like I just talked about this the other day on the podcast, like how I think as entrepreneurs, we do so much multitasking, but I think it slows us
Yes.
down.
Yep.
And, we've heard about time blocking, blah, 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 but this really is what it is, which is
Yes.
like, how can I, even though I'm a little scared to get my website out into the world, I'm also knowing that that's what's holding me back right now. So how do I just block off 1 week and get this thing done?
Exactly.
So that we're more efficient, so that I have a designer, right? A team member in my corner doing the work for me.
Yes.
All I have to do is make decisions, right?
Yes.
Not saying that that's easy, but also like that's the least part of it, right?
Correct.
But it's like, but it still takes time and energy, especially as an entrepreneur when we have so many other decisions we're making.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
if you
Yes.
tell yourself for the week, my priority for decision making, maybe I'll order Uber Eats so I don't
Exactly.
have to make food decisions. I'm
Right.
just going to make website decisions for a week, but I'm going to rip this Band-Aid off, right?
Exactly. Yes. And like most of my clients are still working, still doing all the
Of
things
course.
during that week because honestly the harder part for them or the more I guess work intensive part is doing that homework. But that's the part where they do have more time for. So it's like once we get to the part where I'm actually doing it, to your point, it's like maybe half an hour a day that they're
Yes.
actually having to do anything, like reply to me.
Exactly. But I think sometimes as like busy humans and business
Yes.
owners, in a half hour it's not just like a half hour, but it's a half hour of like deciding and having
Yes.
FOMO, all that
Focus.
stuff, right?
Yes.
But
Yes.
it's
Yes.
being like,
Yes.
can you devote 30 minutes a day
Yep.
for a week to
Right.
this project? And it's really, I love it because I really feel like as designers and coaches, like we need to like hold our clients' feet to the fire for what we know is best for them.
Exactly.
And it's you letting them know, like, even though this is hard and uncomfy, what's best for you is to spend 30 minutes a day on your website for 1 week and get it done.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly. Because then you can actually go share the website and people will be able to book with you and all those things. Because when I'm designing, I'm not, of course, I care how it looks. Like, let's be real, I do. But it's also about the strategy and it's also about making sure that their clients have a good experience.
That's one of my favorite things about you as a designer is how strategic you are and
Mm,
your aesthetics are stunning. I love
thank
your
you.
aesthetics. They're so clean, they're so bright, they're
Thank you.
so personable. But you know what's interesting when I think about some of the I've had the honor of seeing your gallery of work over the last 10 years in small glimpses.
Mm,
When I think about the websites you designed 10 years ago and the websites you're designing today, of course some design trends change,
hmm.
but really they're pretty similar
Yeah.
in the sense that and it's just such a gift, right?
Thank you.
Like you've embraced timeless marketing. And I just think that's such a gift to your clients that they don't even know. Because
Yeah.
again, our branding doesn't just affect our website, it affects our graphics and our
Yep.
programs and all of that.
Yep, it totally flows down to everything. And I also wonder like and thank you so much for that kind reflection. I also think part of it again is the fact that I'm so focused on my client and their clients that I'm not really following the trends. I'm not doing, teeny tiny
Yes.
text on whatever color is in this year. It's really about what is going to work for my client and their clients. So, yeah.
Okay, I have a funny question for you.
Oh,
What,
okay.
like over the last 10 years, like what's a design trend or two that's like come and gone that's like irked you the most?
The tiny text I cannot get over. It's
Wait,
still
what
not
is that? What is it?
Tiny text is still not entirely gone. I still see it on Instagram sometimes. It's when so it I would say maybe like 8 years ago. Oh, goodness gracious time. Um, it was really popular and really like the pretty cool aesthetic was to have like a dusty rose color and then tiny, tiny font. Like tiny font. So much so that like you'd have to almost like zoom in on your browser to be able to read the body text. That still drives me bananas. I see it a lot less now, but it was really popular for a while.
Which now we know, like, number one, that's not accessible, right? Number
So not
two, like,
accessible. And like even if you have like the most perfect eyesight, it's not fun or pleasant when you're having to squint like so yeah,
I
I'm
think
I'm
about
glad
that
that's
sometimes with
gone.
I think about that sometimes with fashion trends, right? Of like
Yes.
the things we do for, and I'm all for an aesthetic situation, but like really, like it's so important to like be practical and comfortable. And like you said, be mostly focused on what's going to be bringing your clients money, right? What would you say
Yes.
are the biggest mistakes you feel like people make on their website when it comes to not thinking about their website as a client attraction machine?
I think there's almost two extremes of things that I like. I sometimes do like a homepage audit or a whole website audit for people. And I think there's two kinds of things that come up most. Either someone has thrown like everything in the kitchen sink onto their homepage and their navigation has way too many links and there's just way, way too much. Or the other extreme is you have gone so minimalist because you're scared of overdoing it that you're not giving enough information or visuals. So like
Mm.
there really is like a happy medium, like the middle way, as the Buddhist would say, um, of giving the right amount of information and photos. Like photos do matter. Like, if it's whether you're selling a product and you're showing that thing or you're the service provider, it's the way that people are meeting you. And I get that some people just really hate photos of themselves, but I usually beg to at least get one on the website somewhere so someone knows who it is they are potentially hiring.
I love that you do. And I love that you're kind of like a pseudo business coach in the sense that like
Yeah.
you're asking them to do things that are actually like good for them in their business, right?
Yes.
Like when I go to someone's website, the first thing I do is look for a photo of them. Not because
Yep.
I care what they look like, but because I feel like there's a little bit of an energy around that,
Yes.
right? Like we're humans and we want to look people in the eyes, right?
Exactly.
And so I love that. And I think this is why websites are so hard for people, conscious or subconsciously, because we know they're going to help us. Like we
Yes.
know
Yep.
it'll make us more visible and be a portal to make money. Like
That's why it's scary.
it's so scary because it's so not always, but usually in life, the things that are scariest are often good for us.
Yep.
And so, maybe what's some of your advice for someone that has been thinking about updating their website or thinking about doing a website, but it's been on the back burner? There's never the right time. They're scared
Mm.
to invest the money. Like, what's your best advice?
I would say, yeah, for those people, I think it's even more important to hire a website designer because to your point from before, like we will hold you accountable and we will take you through it so that you're not having to do it alone. Um, because yeah, like sometimes it is just so, so scary. You just want to do none of it. So in some ways, paying that money holds you even more accountable, right? Like I know
Yes.
when like I hired a health coach recently because like I knew even though I used to do health coaching myself 10 years ago, but
Yes.
like no, I know myself and I need to pay someone so that I can say, nope, I didn't pay all that money to then XYZ. So same thing for
Yes.
website. And also because like to that point, if you are a, Reiki practitioner or your interior designer, like those are your specialties, those are your expertise, those are the things that like you're geeking out about. Website design is that for me. So why not let me bring all of that to help you?
1,000%. I totally agree. And I love the point you made a few sentences ago too about accountability. And
Mm.
I hear, I mean, I just asked my team member yesterday to do something that I could do, but I know I'm just gonna get lost in the weeds. Like that's just
Yep.
not how I need to
Yep.
be spending my time. And I think,
Yes.
or we feel like, oh, I need to be more holy and motivated and hold myself accountable. Like
No.
we're humans and we need connection and we need support. And there's no shame around hiring someone to help us with something we feel challenged by, or even if we could do it alone or could find the motivation. Like, I just think there's this thing that we feel like we have to be perfect
Yep.
before we can get support or do something.
True. And I also think, and I've been guilty of this in my business too, I also think as business owners, we think, well, we need to know how to do everything in our business. Otherwise, like,
Yes.
I don't know, that makes us not good business owners or that makes us bad. Like, there's shame if you don't know how to do something in your business, even if it's not the thing you're in business about. Like, why? I don't know. It's kind of a little maddening that like we've created these unrealistic expectations for what it means to be a business owner right now.
I totally agree. My guess is part of that is imposter syndrome, right? Of like, I think
True.
like most men have a lot of confidence and they
Yep.
don't feel in as much self-worth stuff. So
True.
they feel like, oh, of course I can outsource that and it doesn't make, but I think for me, a lot of times I'm like, oh, if I hire a housekeeper, what does that mean about my ability to keep my house
Right.
clean,
Oh
right?
my
Like,
goodness, you're
do
so
you
right.
feel like it's mostly that or do you feel like it's mostly something else?
No, I think you're spot on. I do. I do think you're spot on.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just
so
wild.
interesting.
Because like what's funny, right, is that like owners of big companies have absolutely no shame.
Yeah.
Like I mean it would be wild to expect them to know how to do every single part of their business. But like when we're small business owners, we do. And I think yeah, we need to stop that. We need to break that trend. I just want to go back too about websites and making sure that you have like a photo of you and you're really sharing part of yourself on there somewhere is I think as the world has been taken over by AI, those things are going to matter more and more because like I'm getting to the point where I'm like, how do we know what's real at all anymore? Like you can
Mm.
voice AI, you can video AI, like anything can be replicated. So like the more I think it's just going to get more and more important to be able to like actually show ourselves.
Let's go there before we close because I really feel like that ties into what we were saying earlier too about, yeah, like you said, like showing up and that's the way that we're going to attract clients and enjoy our business is by being ourself online. And I
Yep.
totally agree that one of the most timeless ways we can do that is on our website
Yep.
because social media comes and goes, but
Yes.
like the copy you have on your website and the photo you like
Yes.
everyone's going to see that, right?
Exactly. Yes. Yep.
Talk to us about that and or some of your thoughts around AI and 2025.
Okay, this is such a big topic. So I don't use AI in my business, and I'm not anti AI in like I need us to stay where we are and not move forward. Like I love progress, I love technology, like some amazing things have happened. I just don't A, love all the energy and water and resources that are being used for it. And B, I just think we're losing touch. There's that connection, that relationship, which like is so important for me in my business and AI, you kind of lose some of that
Yeah.
because I mean the thing is right like they're large language models and it's just kind of like recycling and reconfiguring what we've already been what it's been given and that's the
Yeah.
other thing that bothers me is so much of what it's been given was stolen. Um
Yeah.
but yeah, like so I get that it's a time saver and I get that there may be points where it is really helpful, but I don't think that we can outsource everything to it because you're really losing the humanity and you're losing that like real connection.
I love that you have that belief. And again, I just one of the things I most admire about you is you've always been such a value oriented action woman
Yes.
and business owner. And it's so interesting because I'm actually going to be recording a solo podcast soon about some of the dangers I've been seeing in AI lately. And
Oh,
some of what you mentioned is I really feel like it can cause an erosion in our intuition, right?
yes.
Because AI is designed to only affirm what we're saying, right? It
Hmm.
doesn't challenge us,
Right.
right? It's just, oh, yeah, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. And there's so much danger in that, right?
Hmm.
And I don't know. Anyway, I have like a million thoughts on
I
this,
am
but
excited to listen to that.
yes, I just think it's an interesting conversation and a relevant conversation is how do we navigate all this as business owners?
Yep. Yep. Just don't lose yourself in the process is the big message.
Yes, 100%. Don't lose yourself in the process. Okay, as we start winding down,
Yes.
maybe share with us, like, if people have been listening to this and they're like, oh my goodness, Chantelle is the most amazing human ever. I want to do a homepage audit or I want to learn more about you. What's the best way to connect with you online?
So Instagram is definitely where I hang out the most. I am also on Facebook and LinkedIn, but Instagram, I just spend ridiculous amounts of hours there. And then, of course, my actual website, chantelledavisgray.com. You can join my email list there and get connected. But like I said, like I'm really big on the relationship. So when you come follow me on Instagram, please say hi.
Yeah, I love it. And if you go see her website, you will just instantly fall in love with. And it's so interesting because you've already probably fallen in love with her just from hearing her. But I think when you also see, like when we hire team members, we want to like them and feel value aligned, but we also want them to be good at what they do. And I
Yes.
feel like that's why you're so amazing because when you go see her website, you're going to be like, oh my God, okay, she's also amazing at what
Oh,
she does. And
thank you.
again, I think like your portfolio, your own website, it just really screams timeless design, but in a way that's not boring,
Thank
right?
you.
In a way that you're not afraid to use the bright pink. You're not afraid,
Yes.
like, I don't know. I've never seen anyone online quite do that hybrid of being timeless and simple and not direct, but like clear and clean, right?
Thank you.
But
Yes.
also be spunky. And
Thank
also,
you.
like, you've never like shied away from like letting people like, who cares if this isn't the color of the year? It's the
Right.
color you like. So,
Yes.
like, F it,
Let's do
like,
it.
use
Yes.
that color. And like,
Yes.
I just think in life in general, it's so hard to find that match between being practical and what works, and also like not shying away from who we are.
So true. And can I just add, it's funny, the way you just described all of that, you could have just described the deck that I just designed because
We haven't.
I
Okay, please. We need to talk about the deck. How have we not talked about the deck? Oh
because
my
we
goodness.
could probably talk for hours and hours because we geek out about talking business things. And
Stay
yes.
tuned for part 4 and part 5. Okay. Okay. No, but we've
Yes.
got 5 minutes. So
Okay.
please, let's talk
So
about the deck.
so the deck is for my do good, feel good business owners. And it's funny what you just described because that literally was my internal debate and like one of the reasons why it took me so long to make the thing. Cause I've been designing decks for other people since 2016. It has taken me this long to finally decide what I'm going to make for my own business. And part of that is what colors am I going to use? Spoiler alert, black, white, and pink is what made the cut. And
Yay.
then minimalist versus like really funky. And I did find a way to solve that and use both. So yeah, so it's just it really cracked me up the way you just described that because that was exactly all of the internal debate that I had while I was designing this deck.
I love. Okay, so yes, tell people about the deck, what inspired it. I know it's not for release yet, but maybe by the
No,
time
it's
the
not.
podcast releases,
Yes.
it will be out. But like, I am a huge fan of. I used to think I was bad at meditating until I realized I was able to like be an active meditator or use
Oh,
cards or
yes.
like I'm a
Yes, yes,
huge deck
yes.
person. But tell us about
Yes,
the
me
deck you
too.
made.
So I originally made this deck as a gift for my clients because I usually send my clients a little something when we start working together. And especially actually either if I'm making a deck for them or it's their website, they're working on homework. And I know that that part can be really daunting and overwhelming. And I wanted to make something that's like, yes, I'm here via email, but also like now I'm here on your desk with you or like in your pocket.
That's so
Um,
sweet. I didn't realize that. Like to have
yes.
those affirmations as they're doing that homework.
Exactly. So half the deck, so, that was the original idea. Then I kept brainstorming and thinking, and I realized, oh my goodness, my whole thing is working with do good, feel good businesses. Half the deck is going to be do good suggestions. So those are actions to take. And the other half of the deck are feel good, which are affirmations.
I did not I mean, I knew it was going to be for clients,
Yes.
but how beautiful, like you said, that it can really help them with the process and the hard part of putting their work into the world.
Yes, exactly. And so, of course, as I was designing it, I'm like, I can't just gift this. Like, I also need to be able to sell it in my business.
Yes.
Like, I'm gonna practice what I preach to my card deck clients.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. So will you be sharing on Instagram when it publishes?
Yes, absolutely. And actually, on my Instagram, you can see some of the behind the scenes videos because I documented the whole process as I made this deck. So you can see when I went through imposter syndrome, how I decided what size to make them, like the whole thing.
I love that so much. So that if you were thinking about, because you also do deck design.
Yes.
So if you've been thinking about doing your deck, that can be kind of fun to see what it's like to create a deck in the world.
Exactly, exactly. Not to mention, like, I absolutely love behind the scenes anything. So I thought, okay, this will be fun to share.
It's the best. Like it's the best. Like when we used to have like DVDs with like behind the scenes, that's the
Yes.
only part I would watch.
That was the whole reason to get a DVD. Yes.
For the behind the scenes
Yes.
footage, right?
Yes. Oh my goodness. Taking me back. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Any final closing words?
No, I just absolutely adore chatting with you. And I'm so grateful for the support you've given me along these 10 years.
I'm so grateful for you too. Okay. Have a beautiful rest of your week. I will in the show notes be putting all the links that Chantelle mentioned. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks for hanging out today. Please hit that subscribe button so you can make sure to stay updated anytime a new episode drops. And I would love for you to join me in my free Facebook community. It's called The Heart-Centered Entrepreneur. We discuss the podcast episodes. I regularly go live and do free trainings. And you may even meet your newest biz bestie. So you can join at heartcenteredcommunity.com. It's absolutely free, and I cannot wait to see you in there.